How you doing, guys? Big Mac Danskull here again today, back once again with another video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at something okay.
Something okay this way comes.
So you can now see them in front of you guys a little bit closer than you could in the intro there. I wanted to increase my video output over the course of this period of lockdown in the UK, and I thought, why not try and do at least one Orky video a week for however long this lasts. So my channel is called Big Mac Danskull, and yeah, I don't put out any Ork content, or hardly ever anyway, because I mainly cover Conquest and now Mortal Realms. But why not cover some Orky content at least one a week, and maybe, just maybe, get a backlog stored up so I can, going forward, release an Orky video a week. Yeah, these are what I've been working on during the hobby hangout sessions that the Warhammer community team have been doing on Twitch. So I figured I'd show you some progress. Yeah, let's concentrate on one at a time. These are the two buggies, the Ork buggies that you get in the Speed Freaks box game from Games Workshop. This one here is a Kustom Booster-Blasta, and this one is the Shokkjump Dragsta. I'll take a look at the Kustom Booster-Blasta first, seeing as though it's Danskull's. Leave that there so you can still see it in the background. You can see it's not glued to the base yet or anything. But yeah, I'll talk you through what changes I still need to make to it. Basically, there's a change to the black on the wheels that I still need to make to it. I need to go in there with some Abaddon black, and the black, any black on it basically, the black on the hat there as well. Go with some Abaddon black. This is the old Imperial Primer black, which it's okay, but it's a little bit shiny and it makes your miniature look kind of weird at the end. I've made a few adjustments to this, a few little tiny conversions. I took out the bar that goes across the front there because I wanted to put this head on the driver. Now this head is from the Ork Boys kit, I think, and it's like a mechanical head almost, like the doc's gone in there and he's swapped out some parts because he's had his head blown off by a Space Marine bolter shell or something. And yeah, other adjustments include this Flashkit's head on the dude with the big gun, because I thought it was appropriate. It's a guy, it's a big gun in it. A Flashkit's going to want to get his hands on that. And yeah, what better head to chuck on a model with a huge gun like that. And I also adjusted the guy on the back. Now the guy on the back, the grot on the back, this is from the biker kit. There was originally one on this side, but he looked so cool. He looked like the kind of grot I might want to convert for a kill team. So I took that one off and put this one on. I just drilled into the body of the truck here, and basically yeah, just stuck the pole in a little bit and glued it with some plastic glue, and I think that's, I've been catching it so much it's actually coming loose at the minute, so I need to adjust that at some point. He did have a shooter, the shooter was representing a grot blaster, but it must have snapped off at some point, so I need to get a shooter painted and back on there. Yeah, I've gone in with various techniques on the metal work. I won't go into too much detail. This is bolt gun metal there, I think that's Warblock bronze or something, and this is a dry brush of bolt gun metal. Bolt gun metal is an old paint from Games Workshop that they don't make anymore. It's a dry brush of bolt gun metal over a brown. It's glacé brown that I used from Montana Gold collection. It's a bit, the glacé brown, it's a really nice colour. It's similar to Mornfrang brown from the Games Workshop range, but it kind of has this weird thing where you go to put, say, a watered down paint on it, and it's like a static effect where you go to put a watered down paint on it and it all separates and it goes into like individual collections of paint. So yeah, it's not the best paint to use on miniatures, I'd say. Oh, another alteration I made as well is these here. Oh, my depth perception's gone because I'm looking at this through my phone screen rather than with my eyes in person, so I'm just missing those things slightly. Anyway, yeah, these are two stakes. I wanted the tusks off the front of this for another conversion I did a little while ago. So I took, I think these are just 2 little bits of sprue, where there's a little sort of a cylindrical, conical bit of sprue on certain older Games Workshop kits that are designed to help separate the sprues in boxes to make sure the parts don't snap. And I took them and carved them into like little wooden stakes, and I've gone over the stakes with contrast paints basically, just to try and make them look a little bit like wood. They're not ideal, they're not great, not perfect, but I'll go back in and adjust them at some point in the future. But it's a nice like tabletop ready paint job. That there's still work to do on it, really, still things I want to change about it, but I'm more than happy to put that on the tabletop and play with it in the meantime. But let's get on to the Shokkjump Dragsta now and talk about this. Now, the Shokkjump Dragsta, for those of you that have been following my channel for a while, you may remember I've got some Orc Goths painted in orange. They were inspired by the TV show Orange Is the New Black. Not that I'm a big fan of that TV show, I just love the name of the TV show. And Black Orc Goths were a thing in Warhammer Fantasy, and yeah, I thought it sort of ran off the tongue nicely. Orange Is the New Black Orc Goths. So I came up with a bunch of Orc Goths that all wear orange instead of black. And yeah, that's the clan. So this is actually a Goth clan Shokkjump Dragsta, not a what's the Speed Freaks one? Bad Moons, not a Bad Moons one. Well, Speed Freaks aren't all Bad Moons, but you know, you get the idea. But anyway, it's going to be painted to be essentially. What I'm going to do is to make it, tie it together when I use it in 40k, if I ever play a game of 40k with it, because I don't really play much 40k. What I'm going to do to tie it together into the Danskull one, and so it warrants using Danskull's rules on it, is paint a little handprint underneath somewhere, so probably under the spoiler there, to say like it's been claimed by a Danskull clan. I remember reading in the lore somewhere, I think it was in a 7th edition codex, that's what Danskulls do sometimes. They put a handprint on something, like a blue paint handprint, or possibly a white paint handprint, but I think it was blue, to say like we're claiming that for later and we're going to come back and loot it later. So that's the idea there. But anyway, yeah, just for the Speed Freaks game, I wanted all my buggies painted differently, so I decided to go with the Orange Is the New Black Orc Goths, and just for that reason, that's why it's painted the way it is. I put some black in there as well, and I thought it looked nice with the white walls on the wheels. Yeah, there's another interesting thing might be of interest to you is all the metallic bits here on the exhausts. They're all over. It's a bolt gun metal base coat, and then these are contrast paints. So these 2 golden sort of bits. Nasdrag yellow contrast paint, as are these bits on the front, and the contrast paint on the sort of brown, almost bronzy looking bit there, that is Grunter Fur contrast paint. So it's another way of achieving nice metallic looks without actually having to use various metallic paints. You only really need silver now, I'd say, in terms of metallics, and then you can use contrast paints to paint different types of metal. Over that, we've got the Grunter Fur there on the air intake as well. But yeah, it's the flames. I'm really pleased with how the flames turned out. If you catch them in the light, they look even better. But this white at the bottom isn't actually white. It's the old bleached bone, which I guess the closest colour now is like Shabti bone or something. And then I've gone in with Lamenter's yellow glaze over the top of that, but you could probably use Aerial yellow. I think it's Aerial yellow. It might be a Lightock yellow or something. One of the new contrast paints, basically. You could use one of the new contrast paints to go in with a flame over there. So I've gone with a yellow flame into the orange, and then it's as if the rest of the body of the vehicle is on fire, kind of, and it almost transitions quite nicely from orange to red. I feel like it does anyway. And then we've gone more of an orange flame here. There is a hint of the yellow at the bottom of each of the flames, if you look closely. And if you ever watch flames actually dancing, you'll see that bits of the flame sort of separate off. So that's what I've tried to do here to sort of achieve that actual fire effect. Like there's a few little tiny bits that are separate from the main body of the flames. So yeah, I've just tried to go in there and do those interesting little effects that I kind of like. I had an idea that's a crazy idea, and I don't think I could pull off, but another hobbyist out there might be able to pull this idea off. Now, a Shokkjump Dragsta is supposed to basically open up a portal and then drive through it. That's the way in the law the Shokkjump Dragsta works. So I think it'd be really cool to get a Shokkjump Dragsta, saw it in half, and then have it on two parts of the battlefield, like slightly in a big diorama or something, slightly separate. Have it going into a portal with get like a clear plastic, clear acrylic screen, and have some sort of energy effect coming off it, like a CD snapped in half or something, and just like a loop of a CD over the top of it with some energy effects coming off it, some blue paint and stuff on there, or green paint because it's an orky thing, and then one on the front end, one on the back of the front end, one on the front of the back end, and have them on two separate parts of the battlefield. And I think it'd be a really cool way of showing the effect off. It'd be a really fun thing to see that, but I don't think I have the skill set to do that. But yeah, it'd be a really interesting thing, I think, in my mind at least. I hope somebody out there takes that idea on board and tries it. But anyway, that's pretty much what I've got for you today. I'll be updating you on these again in the future at some point, probably. Maybe when they're based. One thing I have decided is I was originally going to base all my orcs with like Martian Iron Earth, but I think it's too close to this orange now. So yeah, I don't know. I need to rethink my basing on my orcs and maybe go in with a more brown tone or something like that. But then would that be too close to this rust effect? I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think of these two speeders or buggies or whatever you want to call them. Let me know in the comments below what you think of them. Yes, we'll leave it there for now, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.